Let's see, where's the script? Script isn't in there. It's not the script. Oh, there it is, okay. We'll call the meeting to order. The regular meeting of the Desert Community College District Board of Trustees is now called to order at 9:30 a.m. You may join today's meeting in person at a limited capacity via Zoom webinar or watch the live stream from the College of the Desert YouTube channel. These links are accessible by visiting the College of the Desert homepage. If we could have the roll call, please. President Hope, please proceed with the roll call.
Student Trustee Zarco.
Present.
Trustee Perez. Trustee Oden.
Present.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Present.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Good morning, present.
Trustee Stefan.
Present. And if we could have the Pledge of Allegiance at this time, and let's have our student trustee Zarco, please, if you could lead us in that. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, student trustee Zarco. At this time, the agenda, board meeting agenda, pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2B2, the board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon a determination by a 2/3 vote of the board. If fewer than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those present will determine that there is a need to take immediate action and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified. I have already been informed of one change to the agenda. The district will be pulling agenda item 15.02 from consideration at today's board meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the agenda for January 19th, 2024? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. Roll call vote, please. President Hope.
Student Trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. And if we go back to the roll call really quickly and mark Trustee Perez as present, please. Thank you. And public comments. Requests to address the Board of Trustees regarding regular agenda items. There is remote public participation is allowed and will be accepted in person by email to otp@collegeofthedesert.edu during the meeting and submitted for the record, or by using the raise your hand function by joining the Zoom link. Pursuant to District Administrative Procedure 2345, each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes per topic. 15 minutes shall be the maximum time allotment for public speakers on any one subject, regardless of the number of speakers at any one board meeting. At the discretion of a majority of the board, these limits may be extended. All comments must be submitted or brought forward prior to the end of the public comments section. As an additional note, this item is intended for members of the public who wish to speak regarding regular agenda items. An opportunity to address the board on matters not related to the agenda will be available during item 21.01 of today's agenda. And are there any individuals wishing to speak today?
There are no public comments, Trustee Stefan.
Okay, thank you. That brings us down to public updates. Proclamation, Black History Month. President Hope, please help us introduce our readers.
Thank you so much, Chair Stefan. At this time, I'd like to ask Vice President Baker to introduce our reader from the Black Student Success Center to read our proclamation.
Thank you, and I'd like to ask Mary Eden, a counselor from our Black Student Success Center, to introduce our student.
Good morning.
And thank you, VP Baker, honorable trustees, President Hope, and guests for the opportunity to be here today. It is my honor to introduce Mr. Tyson. Mr. Tyson is one of our Black Student Success Center students and part of our Amen Charter. This fall, Mr. Tyson was accepted in the Amen Leadership Mentoring Academy. He has previously earned multiple associate's degrees and certificates from several California community colleges and continuously been placed on the dean's list. He will earn an Associate of Arts degree and transfer in sociology this spring 24. He's applied for Northridge for fall 24 and a bachelor's degree in sociology. In the future, would like to further his education with a master's degree in social work. In addition, Mr. Tyson owns an LLC providing paralegal and janitorial services. In the spare time that he has, he loves to exercise, cook, and spend time with his family. So if I could introduce Mr. Tyson. Hopefully he's there. He's on Zoom, so. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, I'm prepared. I'll read it. It's probably, yeah. Okay.
Hello? Hello, can you hear us? Hello?
Hi, Timmy.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. So I just introduced you. If you want to read the proclamation.
Okay, yes, I will. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, it says, whereas in 1921, Carter G. Woodson, father of Black history, established the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life History in Washington, D.C., which began the practice of observing the history of African Americans in the month of February. And whereas the month was selected because President George Washington and Abraham Lincoln were born in February, as well as Frederick Douglass, great abolitionist and orator. And whereas within the entire Coachella Valley, the history and culture of Black and African Americans are being recounted and celebrated by all who understand the significance of one's history and one's humanity. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District, as its board's meeting on January 19, 2024, acknowledges the contributions of Black and African Americans and proclaims the month of February 2024 as Black History Month. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees encourage observance of Black History Month throughout the entire community college desert. And thank you for your patience in allowing me to read the proclamation, and I turn this matter back over to the Board of Trustees.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Timmy, and thank you, Mary. We really appreciated that.
Thanks.
Now we're to Now we're to 4.02, Proclamation Career and Technical Education Month. President Hope, please help us introduce our readers.
Yes, at this time, I'd like to ask that Vice President Martinez Garcia introduce our speakers and their instructor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, President Hope. I'd like to call forward Rusty Harling, Professor of Construction Management, Applied Construction Technology. Rusty will be introducing our speaker today, Nicole Escobar. Thank you, Rusty.
Good morning. Good morning, esteemed Board of Trustees, President Hope, and Executive Cabinet members. My name is Rusty Harling. I'm a first-year full-time tenure track instructor with Applied Science and Business School. I specialize in construction law, construction management, and applied construction technologies. During the fall semester, I've had the privilege of teaching the CTE dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment at Amistad and Summit. During that course, We've had several outstanding students. We've offered them an opportunity that otherwise they would not have the opportunity to reach these technical skills and vocational traits. The CTE program has been instrumental in providing opportunities for students to acquire specialized trades, skills, fostering their confidence, and inspiring them to strive for excellence. Today, I'm great pleasure to introduce Nicole Escobar. Nicole is a standout student at the La Quinta High School, but she attends my CTE program at Amistad. Nicole has not only excelled academically, but vocationally. And so she is currently exploring a career in architectural or construction management. And notably, Nicole has decided to defer her administration or her admission to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to spend an extra 2 years with us here at College of the Desert. So I'd like to applaud her for that. Nicole, you want to come up?
Hello, good morning. My name is Nicole Escobar, and I will be reading the Proclamation Career and Technical Education Month. Whereas February 1st to the 29th, 2024 has been designated Career and Technical Education Month by the Association for Career and Technical Education, and whereas profound economic and technological changes in our society are rapidly reflected in the structure and nature of work, thereby placing new and additional responsibilities on our educational system, and whereas career and technical education provides Americans with a school to careers connection and is the backbone of a strong, well-educated workforce which fosters productivity in business and industry and contributes to America's leadership in the international marketplace. And whereas career and technical education gives high school students experience in practical, meaningful basic skills, such as reading, writing, and mathematics. Thus improving the quality of their education, motivating potential dropouts, and giving all students leadership opportunities in their fields and in their communities. And whereas career and technical education offers individuals lifelong opportunities to learn new skills which provide them with career choices and potential satisfaction. And whereas the ever-increasing cooperation efforts of career and technical educators, business and industry stimulate growth and vitality of our local economy and that of the entire nation by preparing graduates for career fields forecast to experience the largest and fastest growth in the next decade. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District at its board meeting on January 19, 2024, proclaims the month of February 2024 as Career and Technical Education Month. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees encourages observance of Career and Technical Education Month throughout the entire Desert Community College District, and urge all citizens to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by career and technical education programs in this community, and to support and participate in these programs to enhance their individual work skills and productivity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank Professor Harding and Nicole. Thank you very, very much for that. And now we're to 4.03, new employee appointments. President Hope, please help us introduce our newest employee appointments.
Yes, as we do this one, can we have any of our new employees, Rebecca or Juan, stand, please, and be acknowledged? Rebecca is here. So I had an opportunity to spend some time yesterday with Rebecca and Juan. Rebecca Moreno has been hired as a counselor and coordinator of CalWorks, and Juan Jose Moreno Ibarra has been hired as an ESLN counselor. So thank you to both of you and welcome.
Welcome aboard, and thank you, President Hope, and congratulations to our new employees. At this time, we're going to have the minutes, approval of regular meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the regular meeting minutes of December 15th, 2023? If there are no corrections to the minutes, they stand approved. And reports. Associated Students of College of the Desert, ASCOT, We have no report unless someone came in at the last minute. College of the Desert Foundation, Kathy Abbott, the Foundation Executive Director. Is she here?
Kathy is here to provide a report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. I want to also say good morning to our student trustee, Zarko. And I think the last time I presented, I didn't say good morning to the vice presidents as well. So good morning, and Superintendent President Laura Hope. Again, Happy New Year. As we begin 2024, I am filled with immense gratitude for your unwavering commitment to our mission and your relentless dedication to fostering student success here at College of the Desert. We ended the year on a very bittersweet note. The foundation, in collaboration with the Pride Center student leaders, held a remembrance event for Bill Tumulty, who is a visionary supporter of the LGBTQ+ community at COD. His legacy continues through his friends, John, Lucio, and Tony, all who remain devoted to the scholarship fund. During the event, the foundation received an additional $50,000 from Bill's trust and a $25,000 annual pledge for the next decade. That's $250,000 for the CV Pride Scholarship. With a $10,000 match from Bill's trust, donors who attended an in-home party the evening before not only matched, but exceeded their fundraising goal of $20,000. So rough estimate of all of the funds raised and pledged is $322,000. State of the College. So preparations for State of the College are well underway. We are delighted to bring back Moss Companies as our presenting sponsor, and we extend a warm welcome to Amazon, who is joining us as a platinum sponsor. Toyota of the Desert and the McCallum have secured silver sponsorships, and we are proud to acknowledge our bronze level sponsors, who are Valley Sanitary District, the John Monahan Foundation, Walter Clark Legal Group, City of Palm Desert, City of Coachella, and Cathedral City. We also added this morning Tilden Coil and AMR. This unique State of the City event will be held in the showroom of our automotive partner, Toyota of the Desert. The program will unveil the vision of the future of COD and other exciting collegiate initiatives. In addition, it'll feature an informative panel discussion with invaluable business partners whose collaborative efforts with the college significantly strengthen our Valley's workforce. So I have some disappointing news to share. Stepping out for College of the Desert for the second year in a row, our talent has canceled their performance. So Ms. Leanne Rhymes has canceled all shows between January and April due to a commitment for another project, which will be overseas. So we are swiftly working on securing new entertainment, and we do have a few things in the works, and we hope that we get a couple of great options to replace Ms. Rhymes. But we are doing this. So one thing that I did not include on the original script is that we would like to invite all of you to join us for a bench dedication celebration in honor of the late Professor Lisa Willender and the Disabled Students Program Services. The brief event will take place on February 8th from 3 to 4:30 at the Donald and Peggy Craven Student Services Center at the East Side entrance. We invite you to help us recognize Lisa Willender's enduring commitment and profound impact that she had on College of the Desert community. So following a successful meeting with the Berger Foundation, Superintendent President Laura Hope and myself met with their board of directors in early December. Following that meeting, the foundation was invited to submit a proposal in which we requested over $1 million to help support our internal transportation, which is aiming to reduce commuting times for students residing in various Valley cities. So keep your fingers crossed and we'll keep you posted. In addition, we have received grants of $25,000 and $10,000 respectively from the Allen Foundation and Bighorn Charities. They will support the nursing program as well as the central pantry. These funds ensure that financial and core essential stability for students and will highlight the exceptional work of COD staff and students. And then finally, thanks to our board member, Bill Chenowitz. He is constantly encouraging community members to take the campus tour to learn more about College of the Desert. Bill brought developer and philanthropist Jerry Fogelson on a tour, which resulted in Mr. Fogelson establishing a $25,000 scholarship fund for our College of the Desert students. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. I look forward to hearing more about what we're going to have for our program. College of the Desert adjunct, or
Excuse me, Trustee Stefan, we do have a verbal report from CSEA here.
Okay, that's the language we're getting.
Yes, Omar Fimbres.
CSEA?
Good morning, everyone. Superintendent, President Hope, Board of Trustees, and Vice Presidents. As we start the new year, the CSA would like to introduce two newly elected members. Myself, President of the CSEA, and Job Gonzalez, the third Vice President. Mr. Gonzalez is here as well. Raise your hand. All CSEA members are continuing to work hard to ensure students, faculty, and staff have the everyday services that keep our campuses open and ready for doing what we do best, and that is helping our students succeed. Our custodians are diligently cleaning and preparing classrooms to the return of our students on January 29th, and groundskeepers are busy finishing up projects from recent storms. Maintenance and operation members have also worked hard to make sure that heat has been restored in our buildings and any recent storm damage has also been repaired. Family night is scheduled for next week, January 23rd in Indio. CACA members from all campuses are preparing for the event and also for the CDC ribbon cutting ceremony, which will be followed by family night activities. This event is one that you don't want to miss. The spring semester starts on Monday, January 29th. CSEA members will be assisting students at welcome tents on both January 29th and January 30th here in our campus. It's always great to see the students returning to class, ready and eager to learn. Campus tours from local schools are continuing this spring. Last semester, from September 12th through December 12th, our CSEA members provided tours for over 800 students. When asked how tours were going, our campus tours coordinator said, "I think they are excited when they get here. You should see and hear when they leave. They can't stop talking about everything they saw and did." Kudos to those who are helping with all aspects of these tours. CSEA is also preparing our initial proposal for contract negotiations. We look forward to working with the district and improve language that helps the employees of our college. We will have a full team ready to go and are eager to collaborate with district team members throughout the next few months. This will conclude my CSEA verbal report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And at this time, we'll have College of the Desert Adjunct Association. After that, I'm sorry. College of the Desert Adjunct Association, Kathy Levitt, CODAA President. Sorry about that, my mic wasn't on.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having us back this semester. As we enter the new year, we are hopeful and optimistic that spring is indeed a new beginning and that we will see the end to the inconsistencies that have plagued not just COD, but much of our educational system. CODA sees the reopening and negotiation of our CBA as an opportunity to better understand the college's goals and the role of adjuncts in meeting those goals, as an opportunity to resolve the conflicts in language and direction that come with far too much strategic ambiguity, and as an opportunity to examine the areas where process and systems fail in the face of confounding practice or expectation. And by the way, time is of the essence because our CBA expires in June, and so we're more than a little anxious to get started on all of this. To this end, CODA shares its New Year's resolutions, and so we have 4 of them, I think. Might be 5, 4. I have to look. 4. First, actively and persistently seek inclusion and parity for adjuncts, not just in our CBA, but in our campus engagement. 2, to recognize and pursue accountability not only for adjuncts to their disciplines, but of administration to the adjuncts. We seek consistent, thorough, and effective communication as well as transparency in the processes used for hiring, assignment, payment, and evaluation. 3 is to take active and engaged role in ensuring that CODA is part of the solution and not seen as the problem. This will start by moving away from requesting quick fixes to an immediate but recurrent crisis and positioning using the problem as the basis for calling for or implementing workable processes, systems, and standards of practice, something that this college has been lacking for a very long time. 4, we're going to showcase the talents and real-life experiences that adjuncts bring to the college, but for which they are rarely recognized. Michael Gladich is an example of this. He's an Emmy Award-winning director and producer in the past, who pioneered a very successful film course that brings students to the film festival and allows them not just to see these films, but to discuss them with industry professionals. Truly, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most. It should also be noted that Mike's class, another of Mike's courses, was accepted and badged as one of the courses that will be available to students across the California Community College system. And further, Mike is one of 2 adjuncts elected to the Senate, and he has served for a long time as the Secretary of CODA. All right, I thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you and everyone. At this time, we'll hear, College of the Desert Faculty Association. I have down, they have no report. I don't see anyone in the audience. Academic Senate, also no report at this time. That brings us to the governing board. Student trustee Zarko, if you have a report, please.
I'm gonna keep it short, but good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing good, well, fantastic, and all that. I hope you all had a good gonna have a good new year. I hope you had a restful winter break. I know I did, so I wish upon that all of you as well. And good luck on everyone's endeavors, no matter what you're doing, you're working, being a student, or you have New Year's resolutions, just keep in mind and just keep pushing, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And trustee Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief as well. I want to wish everybody a happy new year and welcome back. Looking forward to this new year. Last year, at least personally speaking, was a year for me that brought a lot of growth and a lot of lessons. So I'm looking forward to what this new year will bring me. Looking forward to family night and the ribbon cutting next week. Those would be great and big events for our district. So let's get this year started on a really good, positive note. Looking forward to all the great work that we're going to continue doing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, trustee Perez. And trustee Oden?
I too would like to echo the sentiments of wishing everyone a happy new year, and I'm really excited about this new year and moving our agenda forward. And thank you for the reports from all of the representatives, and looking forward to getting some things done.
Okay. Thank you, trustee Oden. Trustee Kinman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Echo all my colleagues, the happiest new year to everyone. We're looking forward to, again, having a very productive year. We're moving into our accreditation cycle, so I know we're all going to be very, very busy focusing on what we can do best through that process to improve the institution and to support everybody here that does such fine work for our community. That concludes mine.
Thank you, Trustee Kinnaman. Trustee Gonzalez, your report, please.
Good morning again, everyone. And, I will also echo the sentiments. I hope most of you had a chance to rest and relax. I got to chat with some of you. Looks like you were busy at times at home, but I really do hope that you were able to finish up some projects at home or just get some rest and some family time. And as well, I'm looking forward to what this new year brings. Also very excited for the ribbon cutting next week. I think that's just going to be amazing. I drive by there often and it just looks amazing. It's beautiful. I want to congratulate the new leadership, CSEA. Congratulations to you. Thank you all for your report. And I want to acknowledge as well and thank those who read proclamations. You did a great job, and I always love hearing from students. It's the best. So with that, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez. For my report, I just like to say happy New Year. I know this is going to be the best year ever. We've got the greatest employees. We've got the greatest community here at College of the Desert. You all make it possible. Everybody here at the diocese, everybody in the audience, and everybody that works and steps onto our campus makes this college possible. Just remember that. We really, really appreciate you, each and every one of you. I watched the news this morning, and we had a blurb on there about our students going up for some national awards again. And these are our students that are trying to break into that, the newsroom, I guess, mostly. So we wish them the very, very best. They've done very well in the past, and we know that they are top-notch, and we know they're going to do a great job. Whether we come home with all the awards or not, we know we've got the best here. We've got Roadrunners, and they're the best. So I welcome everybody to our meetings, and I hope that everybody feels welcomed here. So at that, I'd like to turn it over to our superintendent president, if you would, please.
Thank you, Chair Stefan. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for being here. This month has already been very busy. We all got some nice downtime, but we're back at it and accomplishing great things. A district team met with the City of Indio on January 8th with Vice President Rod Garcia and Director John White to discuss parking options to support the Indio expansion project, and we look forward to seeing you all at the ribbon cutting. The City of Indio is interested in helping us identify ways to secure space for our materials to reside while we work on our renovation project there once the new building is able to open. Future meetings will occur as it relates to our formal agreements, but I just wanted to let the members of the public and the governing board know that we are moving forward on discussions with the City of Indio. Very grateful for that. We also met with the Coachella Valley Water District in order to determine what would be necessary to improve sewer and water lines to the Mecca Thermal Campus. They were very gracious and discussed all of our options. This is approximately a $10 million project, and Vice President Garcia and I are discussing all of our options, perhaps concluding with a recommendation to the board for this to be a longer-term capital project. The Child Development Center in Indio will also have its ribbon cutting as part of the Indio expansion on January 23rd at 3:30. And then the college will engage in family night, as you all know, so we're excited to have everyone there. Many thanks to Vice President Baker and his team who've done a lot to bring family night back as a regular part of our operations. Those sessions, family night sessions, will include information, registration opportunities, interactive booths, and food. I had an opportunity to tour with Vice President Martinez Garcia and Dr. Enders last night, and the building is shaping up beautifully, and it's going to be an amazing space for students. I think what impresses me most is the fact that there's been so much thought and care given to make sure that students have places that they can hang out, that they can work with others, you know, the architects call them sticky spaces, where students will stick around. And so I think that's really exciting that students are going to find a great home there. We also are having our management retreat on January 31st, and we're looking forward to the faculty coming back next week on the 26th. My flex address on the 26th will comprise a series of updates to the college community, as well as a student paneling featuring our own ASCOD students. Many thanks to Isaac and Kelly for helping me with that event. And I know we all look forward to elevating and hearing student voices and about their experience. On January 5th, I had the opportunity to tour the Juvenile Detention Center in Indio with Dean Amanda Phillips. As a result of the college's Rising Scholar Grant, we're looking to start in-person instruction to about 3/4 of the men who are housed there in courses as soon as summer 2024. As many of you know, education for incarcerated people is something that's close to my heart. And so I'm not only passionate about it, but very excited that College of the Desert is going to be engaging in this powerfully transformative work. Vice President Garcia and I also met with our bond advisors in preparation for the bond issuance that's scheduled so that we can move our projects forward. And you'll hear more about that in today's meeting. Vice President Martinez Garcia and I also met with the Desert Care Network to discuss partnerships for our nursing students that include job interviews for our nurses, as well as the potential use of their network nurses as our faculty. And Vice President Martinez Garcia and I met yesterday with the chair and vice chair of College of the Desert's accreditation evaluation team, President Tim Karras from Mendocino College and President Marilyn Flores from Rio Hondo College. And we'll be setting up a meet and greet and an open forum for the internal community on March 11th. So more to come on that. And that is my report.
Thank you so very much. Thank you to all the trustees for their reports and everyone from our college community with their reports. At this time, we're going to recess to closed session. The board will now recess to closed session. The live feed of this meeting will continue. Board members and President Hope, I ask that you please join closed session at, do we have the time? 10:08, or let's wait until 10:15. We'll hopefully reconvene in there, okay? And then we will be coming back to open session. So, see you soon. register? Now it is.
Okay, we're good.
Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, can you please repeat?
Okay. We will reconvene to open session. Report of action taken. We're now reconvening to open session at 10:28. There's no action to report from the closed session. That brings us to consent agenda. And all items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. Are there any requests to separately consider any of the consent items? Hearing none, seeing no one making any motions. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. If we could have a roll call vote, President Hope, please.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I do have one question, just on 11.2.
Okay. We're going to
It's just a question.
back it up. 11.2.
You went too fast for me. I didn't get a chance to. I mean, I don't want to pull it.
What was it?
I don't want to pull the item. I just wanted to ask a question. I know that's the one for transportation.
Okay.
So is the college going to pay for it now while we wait for funds to come in that might be able to support that?
Yeah, maybe that would be a good question during study session?
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a report at the study session on transportation.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be a great one for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, now that moves us into the action item. There are no items pulled from the consent agenda for separate discussion and consideration, so we don't have that aspect. That brings us to 14.01, appoint representative on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. Before I take any motions on these next couple of items, President Hope, could you please provide some context on the application process that took place?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We had a vacancy for the business representative on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, and we had one applicant whom I interviewed, and that is the Bruce Bauer, the person that I'm recommending to the trustees, who is a local attorney and conducts his business primarily around business law. And since he was the only applicant and he's able to, I think, make some very unique contributions, I'm recommending him for consideration by the governing board.
Okay. With that, thank you very much, President Hope. And with that, do I have a motion to appoint the recommended applicant, Bruce Bauer, as the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee business representative?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve Bruce Bauer as, to appoint Bruce Bauer as the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee business representative. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to say that I've been requesting information and updates on the Oversight Committee, and I'm glad to see that it's moving forward. So thank you very much.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, if we could have a roll call vote, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And that brings us to 14.02, appointment representative for a Citizens Bond Oversight Committee member at large. Do I have a motion to appoint the recommended applicant, David Reedy, as the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee member at large?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Before we open discussion, President Hope has some additional context she'd like to share for the member-at-large position vacancies. President Hope?
Yes, so we have one at-large vacancy also on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. I interviewed 4 potential candidates for this position. David Reddy, also a longtime resident of the Valley, has experience as city attorney, city manager, and I think that he'll bring some important insights and ways of supporting the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. I do want to make the board aware that there is one additional vacancy, unfortunately, as a result of the death of Michael Monachino. And so I'm currently accepting applications for that 3rd seat. And any of the candidates who are not being recommended will also be considered for that 3rd seat. So there'll be another item hopefully next month to make the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee complete. As I mentioned, I had an opportunity to interview all the applicants who were interested in being interviewed, and David Reddy is the person that I'm recommending.
Thank you very much, President Hope. Is there any other discussion, any questions from any board member? Seeing none, if we could have a roll call vote, President Hope.
Student Trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And 14.03, regular meeting schedule. This is from July 2024 through June 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the 2024-25 meeting schedule as presented?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Before discussion, I want to highlight that 2 months, April and June 2025, are marked as deviating from the usual scheduling. President Hope, can you provide some context for those months?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The 3rd week in April 2025 conflicts with the spring holiday, and the previous Thursday was selected, so there's no conflict with the anticipated College Planning Council meeting on Friday, April 11th. The 3rd week in June also represented a conflict with the regular board meetings because of the Juneteenth holiday. So the previous Thursday was selected because the campus will be in its 4:40 summer schedule, and campus will be closed on Friday, June 13th.
Okay, thank you very much. Where am I? Oh, that's where I'm at. I'm like, oh, I got lost. Okay, I had a motion on the table and I have a second. And then we had some context. So thank you, President Hope. Is there any other discussion? I know I always ask, have we checked with all of the conferences that were already on the calendar? Some of them are not put on the calendar this early, but we try to make that allowance and try to figure it out anyhow. So have we done that?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you very much. If we could have a roll call vote then, seeing no other discussion. President Hope?
Student Trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And this brings us to 14.04, Chapter 1, Board Policies, second reading. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of the Chapter 1 Board Policies as presented? This is approval of second reading. Chapter 1 Policies.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on any of the Chapter 1 board policies? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please, President Hope?
Student Trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that brings us down to 15, action items regarding human resources. 15.01, public employee appointment. This is for the dean. It is now time to consider item 15.01 on the agenda, wherein it is recommended that the board approve the employment agreements for Dean of Math and Sciences. The recommended action will approve the employment agreement for the Dean of Math and Sciences commencing on February 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, with salary placement at range 11, column B, for an annual salary of $181,630.14, as well as provisions for evaluation and fringe benefits comparable to other similar leadership employees. Do I have a motion to approve the employment agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by trustee Gonzalez and seconded by trustee Kinnaman. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, if we could have a roll call vote, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Pettis.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries, and we're very pleased to have Michael Savetta in this position. Michael, is Michael here? There he is, Michael. Stand up, Michael.
Stand up. You could stand up, please, so we can all see you.
Congratulations.
And welcome to our college community family. And public employee appointment, interim director, as noted at the beginning of the board meeting, item 15.02 has been pulled. And then 15.03, I believe that's now 15.02 though, isn't it? Okay, we just didn't renumber. Public employee appointment, general counsel. It is now time to consider item 15.02 on the agenda, wherein it is recommended that the board approve the employment agreement of the general counsel. This recommended action will approve the employment agreement for the general counsel commencing on February 5th, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, with a salary placement at range 15, column 10, for an annual salary of $318,733.80, as well as provisions for evaluation and fringe benefits comparable to other similar leadership employees. Do I have a motion to approve the employment agreement as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by trustee Gonzalez, and it has been seconded by trustee Perez. Is there any discussion? No discussion. If we could have a roll call vote, please, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Pettis.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And congratulations to our new general counsel.
Congratulations, Mr. Knapp.
And I assume
Madam
he's
Chair.
Is he here?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, so I apologize for having to do this, but I believe that you read February 5th, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. The contract is February 4th, 2024 through February,
It's February 4th?
yeah, 2027.
My script was off. So do we want to go back and,
It would be my recommendation
to
to,
go back and redo that? Okay,
just
I
to amend.
apologize. I
Thank you,
apologize.
Carlos.
And that was to June 30th, 2027?
no ma'am, the posted item on the agenda says, let me make sure.
February 4th, 2024?
2020.
February 5th, 2024, ending February 4th, 2027.
So it's 3 years and not 3 years and 4 months.
Okay, so it's February 5th, so that part was right, through, and this part should
February 4th.
be February 4th. Okay,
Sorry about that.
comma, 2027. Okay, I apologize to everyone. Let me go back. We're going to redo this so that we get it right, so that it's in the minutes correctly, and we've approved the correct thing. Do we need to take action on the thing we just approved or not?
I believe the cleanest thing to do is just ask if there are no objections to a motion to reconsider, which you're allowed to do in the meeting that you're in now. If there are no objections, then you would just take a motion with the accurate.
Okay.
timeframe. Yeah.
Are there any objections to reconsider 15.0? And this is 2 because we eliminated 2 and we moved this up, right? To 15.02, the public employee appointment of general counsel. Seeing no objections, we're going to try this again. Okay, so we're going to consider item 15.02 on the agenda again, wherein it is recommended that the board approve the employment agreement for the general counsel. This recommended action will approve the employment agreement for the general counsel commencing on February 5th, 2024 through February 4th, 2027, with salary placement at range 15, column 10, for an annual salary of $318,733.80, as well as provisions for evaluation and fringe benefits comparable to other similar leadership employees. Do I have a motion to approve the employment agreement as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
And thank you, Trustee Perez. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, President Hope, I'm sorry.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, and thank you very much. And again, congratulations to our new general counsel.
Yes.
Now that brings us to 15.04, presentation of the initial proposals of the Desert Community College District to the College of the Desert Adjunct Association. Do I have a motion to addendize the public hearing for the February board meeting as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. And 15.05, presentation of the initial proposals from the College of the Desert Adjunct Association to the Desert Community College District. Do I have a motion to addendize the public hearing for the February board meeting as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? A roll call vote, please, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 15.06, presentation of the initial reopener proposals from the Desert Community College District to College of the Desert Faculty Association. Do I have a motion to addendize the public hearing for the February board meeting as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 15.07, presentation of the initial reopener proposals for the College of the Desert Faculty Association to the Desert Community College District. Do I have a motion to addendize the public hearing for the February board meeting as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez. Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that brings us to 16, action items concerning administrative services. 16.01, budget revisions. Do I have a motion to approve item 16.01 as presented? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez. Trustee Odin.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And that brings us to 16.02, resolution number 011924-1 of the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District authorizing the issuance and sale of not to exceed $200 million aggregate principal amount of bonds of the Desert Community College District by a negotiated sale, approving the form of and authorizing the execution of delivering of a bond purchase agreement and the continuing disclosure certificate, approving the form of an official statement for the bonds and authorizing related actions. Do I have a motion to approve item 16.02 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve this. Before we open discussion, I understand we have a brief presentation for this item. President Hope, please help us introduce the presenter.
Yes, at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Vice President Garcia to introduce the board to our representatives to discuss the process and the intended outcomes. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Hope. I'd like to introduce Adam Bauer. He works with Film and Roll-Up, which is our district financial advisor, and we will be discussing our next issuance for our Measure CC bond.
Great, thank you, and hopefully we can pull up the presentation. And so as we pull it up, what we start off with is talking a bit about the market in which we sell these bonds. It's called the municipal market, and that's exactly what you've sold the bonds into in the past. And
The presentation is the last attachment, the one that says January 9th, yes. Thank you.
great, yep, this is it, thank you. And so if we turn to the first slide, while this first slide looks very complicated, I'm going to break it down and make it simple. Is it possible to advance to the next slide? Yeah, there's a clicker right there. Great, thank you. Okay, so a lot going on this slide. Let's start with those green bars. When you hear on the news the Fed is going to increase or decrease rates, that's what those green bars represent. Those green bars line up with the right vertical axis. And so you can see in March of 22, they increased the overnight rate by 25 basis points. If it was 300, it'd be really bad. And so you can see then okay, so then I have this memorized, so I'll just go through it. So then they do 50, then they do 475s, then they back off. That was the trend of interest rates going upward, and you can see by those green bars the time period in which they did that. Okay, now look at the red bars. The red bars line up with the left vertical axis, and they are an accumulation of all the green bars. And so you can see that Fed funds overnight rate increased over time. Now the blue line, that's what really matters. That's the 10-year Treasury. And you can see for much of the time that tracked the increases that the Fed did. But eventually, the Fed talked about not increasing rates, and the 10-year Treasury started to anticipate that. And you can see then, even though they did increase rates to some degree, that 10-year Treasury stayed stable and even declined. The reason why that's so important is that benchmark basically sets almost every other interest rate in the US. So your municipal rates tend to trade off of that 10-year Treasury. So hopefully what you're noticing is that line started to decline. Now, we started working on this transaction in about September of 2023. And you can see we had some good fortune because the Fed chair came out in November of 23 and said, we're not, well, it was a lot of words, but the market translated into rates won't go up much, but they're going to stay higher for longer. Once investors heard that, rates started going down. So that kind of sets the stage for why we're in front of you now. So the next slide shows how that went to work. That yellow and red line, you've seen that from me many, many times. And what that is the 10-year and the 30-year MMD. MMD is the municipal market data and tracks the perfect credit. While you are not the perfect credit, you are about as close as it gets. And I'll share with you your ratings in a minute. So you are pretty close to that 10-year and 30-year on that. But hopefully what you're also noticing is that like free fall. That free fall has been a decline in interest rates on the tail end of that. Far right, another slide you've seen from me in the past. The red bars represent the range of interest rates for each maturity. There's 30 of them. That yellow line represents where we're at as of your agenda deadline, 1/12/2024. So you can see we're slightly elevated on the short term, but we're about average overall if you look going back to 2005. So just another sign that things are looking favorable, a lot better than they were late 2022 and early 2023. I'm going to switch from the macro and now start talking more about you. We just wanted to set the stage for where things were. So this is all about you. And this is your 2004 measure. You can see that is working just as planned. If you recall, a little less than 10, but more than 5 years ago, we did some refinancing to really get that one where it should be. And you can see that red line is the maximum tax rate that you talked to voters about. And those bars are how much of the tax rate we're consuming. The great thing there is now there's a gap between those red bars, the red line and our bars. That's what you want. You have a lower tax rate than what you showed voters. Now, 2016, voters came out and supported you again in a big way. To get this type of support, you are doing a remarkable job. To get 68 and then 72% support, your voter community really appreciates what you do. A lot of places there's a lot of places we can't get to 55, which is what you need. And so the fact that you have such high numbers there is a real positive. But now look at that 2016. We're well below it. So our 200 million fits in very nicely. We're going to show you that in a minute. But on this one, we targeted $19.50 rather than that 25 maximum. And you can see there, we're just a little bit below that we're a significant amount below that until we sell our next series of bonds here. So if we go to the next slide, this is just that 2016 measure. What's new about this is we've layered in those yellow bars. Those yellow bars are projections. That is, if we were to sell your 2016 measure, 2024 bonds, with a little bit of cushion on rates as of your agenda deadline, here's where here's where the tax rate would be. Kind of exactly what you want. You see, we can predict a little better in years 1 and 2 than we can in years 30. So you target those. Those are lower interest rates. Pay those off, and then layer in your next series of bonds down the road. So we have the ability to recalibrate as the economics within the community change. And so the yellow line, the yellow bars are anticipated. The other thing I want to point out is working with your staff, your underwriters have worked aggressively to do a retail marketing campaign. And what we're hopeful for is that some of the community members within your boundaries buy some of these bonds. And that there's been a significant amount of work doing everything we can to make that happen. And so I really want to commend district staff and also your underwriting team to put that momentum behind that. Next slide, please. Before I do this, I want to talk about your credit ratings. We worked with your team over the last 60 days, and we did 2 credit presentations because you have a lot of bonds. And so we want to make sure that we have 2 on there so that if investors prefer one over the other, they have both. And you have a Moody's AA1 and an S&P AA. So AAA is the highest. AA1 is the second highest. So Moody's gives you the second highest rating. The AA flat is the third highest. And it's relatively rare to have those high ratings. It's the economic factors within your community. It's the managing of the budget that you've done well. It's the managing of the debt that you've done well. But because of the decisions that the college has made, your taxpayers get more money than they otherwise would get by having that higher rating. A higher rating equals lower interest costs. And so I think that's something that the college should be commended for. These are the good faith estimates. You've seen these each time we've done a bond deal. They're in the resolution. We just want to highlight them here. I'm not going to read every word on this page. I think we can get to the next slide. This is our schedule. We received the credit ratings yesterday. We did that intentionally because we wanted to be able to stand before you and provide those. This afternoon or this morning, if you approve the documents, what you're doing is you're approving, as long as we get the bonds sold within the parameters of the resolution, you're allowing district staff to move forward with the bond sale. If we'll price the bonds on or around 124, I think we've pushed that by 1 day. I'm always sensitive to that. We want to be nimble. We are doing our IPO, and we want to make sure we get our IPO in the market at the right time. And so that's why I always say on or around then. And then we're pretty much locked in on closing around the day before Valentine's Day. This is a longer window than I've typically showed you. I've typically showed you 2 weeks. It's that retail effort. So when you tell a hedge fund, we need your money, they wire it. When you tell mom and pop, send us money, sometimes it takes a little longer. And so we've built in that 3 weeks to make sure we have that flexibility should we get a significant amount of retail orders in this. So with that, that's our last slide, but we're available for any questions.
Okay. With that presentation, we are open for discussion. Do we have any questions from the board members on that? Okay. I want to thank Vice President Garcia and Mr. Bauer very much for your presentation. If you would just remain there in case something pops up, okay? But if there are no questions from any of the board members, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. And that brings us to okay. Once in a while we get little glitches. That's okay. Okay, so now we're going to move into 16.03. This is resolution number 011924-2 of the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District approving a new markets tax credit financing transaction for the construction of the Indio expansion project and authorizing the execution of necessary documents and taking certain actions with respect thereto. And the district is requesting the Board of Trustees to approve resolution number 011924-2 of the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District approving a new markets tax credit new market tax credit financing transaction for the construction of the Indio expansion project and the taking certain actions with respect thereinto. Do I have a motion to approve item 16.03 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, and thank you for the second right away. Is there any discussion? And I believe that we have David Cohen from the Peaks Company available to address questions. So if anybody has any questions, David, could you just come to the microphone and give us a very brief explanation? I know we have the documentation, I'm sure my fellow trustees have read it, but just, a brief synopsis for the public so that they understand what we're doing with it.
Thank you, and good morning to the trustees. As we presented at last month's Board of Trustees meeting, we are doing a new market tax credit, what we call a financing, but it really is a way of using a federal government program to bring quite large subsidies to projects being built in low-income communities. This is the third one that the College of the Desert will be doing. We have scaled it up by quite a large order of magnitude compared to the first two, and we expect that this particular new market tax credit transaction will net the College of the Desert somewhere in the order of magnitude of $13 million as compared to about $2 million for the first time we did it and about $3.5 million for the second time we did it. So we're elated ourselves, and we love to be supporting the Indio campus, but then the college in general. It's quite a complex transaction doing tax credits, as you can probably see from the documentation, but you have an extraordinary history of having done this for over 10 years now. And as we presented last time, there are really no other risks that this presents to the college or to the district. And we have already unwound the first transaction we did in 2014. So you have quite a good track record of being able to show that. And I'm available for any questions you may have.
At this time, then, and roll call vote, President Hope.
Microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. And if you would please just remain there, and there were no questions from the board at this time, but if I could just keep my speakers there just a little bit longer. And if we could have a roll call vote, please, President Hope.
Student trustee Zarco.
Aye.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Oden.
Aye.
Trustee Kinnaman.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And at this time, and thank you, gentlemen, again. Thank you. I guess I should release that. Huh? And then that brings us down to information for Board of Trustees. 17.01, status update on the subcommittee's review of charges that Trustee Perez violated Board Policy 2715, Code of Ethics, Standards of Practice. Trustees, this agenda item is to provide the board an update regarding the charges that Trustee Perez engaged in conduct that violates Board Policy 2715, Code of Ethics, Standards of Practice for trustees. As a reminder, in or about January 2023, I received complaints from 4 individuals alleging that Trustee Perez engaged in certain conduct which, if true, could potentially violate provisions of Board Policy 2715. Pursuant to the procedure set forth in Administrative Procedures 2715, I appointed a subcommittee consisting of myself and Trustee Oden to review and investigate the charges against Trustee Perez, with our ultimate responsibility under AP 2715 to bring back a recommendation to the full board based on the investigation findings. Once we formed the subcommittee, Trustee Oden and I worked with the district's legal counsel to review the written complaints against Trustee Perez. As to some of the charges against Trustee Perez, this subcommittee determined that even if the allegations were true, they did not fall within the scope of Board Policy 2715, and therefore the board did not have jurisdiction under Administrative Procedure 2715 to investigate such charges. As to other charges, the district retained the services of a third-party neutral attorney investigator from Van de Meiden Marcus Law Corporation to conduct intake interviews with the complaints as to the certain charges, because the subcommittee could not determine based on the written complaints alone whether the charges fell within the scope of Board Policy 2715. Investigate certain charges that clearly fell within the scope of Board, that's a repeat. Ultimately, after Mr. Rose conducted his initial intake meetings with the complaints, the subcommittee determined that certain charges, even if true, were too vague to constitute violations of Board Policy 2715. As for other charges, the subcommittee directed Mr. Rose to make factual findings regarding these charges. The subcommittee recently received notice that Mr. Rose has made his factual findings. We intend to review the factual findings over the next couple of weeks. Once we review the factual findings, the subcommittee will assess whether, in our opinion, any of the factual findings support a determination that Trustee Perez violated provisions of Board Policy 2715 and make a recommendation to the Board as to any next steps pursuant to Administrative Policy 2715. The subcommittee intends to relay the investigation findings and make a recommendation to the full Board during the February regular Board meeting. Are there any questions from the Board? Seeing none, we'll move on. 17.02, this is the Foundation 2022-2023 Audit Report. This item is being brought to the Board as information only. And Kristen Reyna, is she available? She's available if any board member has any questions. So if any board member has any questions as to their report, we'll bring her up to the microphone. And I'm seeing none. Remember, this is just information items. Okay. And so that brings us down to information items for administrative services. And Kristen, thank you very much for being available and for moving forward in case we needed you. Okay, thank you very much. And this is 18.01, 2022-2023 Desert Community College District and Measures B and CC Bond Financial and Performance Audit Reports. I understand we have some additional context to go with this item. President Hope, could you please help us introduce our presenters?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask Vice President Garcia of Administrative Services to introduce Ide Bailey, who'll be giving us a brief overview.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Hope. I'd like to introduce Rick Alonso. He's a managing partner for Ide Bailey, and he will be discussing our district audit as well as our bond audit.
Thank you, Rod. Good morning to everyone. Happy New Year as well. Hope everyone has had an opportunity to review the report. At this time, I'll give a quick overview of the report, and if there's any questions, you guys can provide me those too as well. As auditors, the scope of our audit is to render 3 opinions. We give an opinion on the financial statements. In addition to that, since you guys are a governmental agency, we give an opinion on your federal awards. And the last opinion we give is on state compliance. Each year, the State Chancellor's Office will give us a laundry list of items that they like us to test, and we give an opinion on those as well. I don't like going over a lot of the pages of the report since it's quite long, so the one I do like to focus on, if you guys like to follow along, is page 102, which is Summary of Auditor's Results. It's basically the district's report card for their audit. Within that page, we list the 3 major opinions that we do give. For financial statements, the district received an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion is the cleanest opinion you could receive, and it states that the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. For federal awards, the district also received an unmodified opinion, so the district met all of the major federal compliance areas which we're required to test. We did have 2 findings in the back of the report with regards to financial aid, which is part of the federal compliance audit. However, those findings aren't considered material non-compliant. So as a result, the district still received a clean opinion, even though you had those 2 issues. For state compliance, we look at 18 different areas. And in 17 of those 18 areas, we didn't have any issues. The district received unmodified opinions. We did have a finding with regards to the student actively enrolled requirement, which is also included in the findings and recommendations under the state section. So just to recap that, the district received basically 17 clean opinions on state compliance, but we did have 1 issue in that area. One of the other things as auditors we need to let the board know is if we had any difficulties encountered during the course of the audit, any disagreements with management. I'm happy to say we didn't have any of those issues. When we come out, the district is always very professional towards us. And that not only goes for the district's business office, we also look at other areas too as well. And in all those cases, we didn't have any issues there as well. So at this time, I can answer any questions that anyone might have with regards to the audit report. Otherwise, I can go into the bond audits.
Anyone have any questions on this report? Seeing none? I guess you might as well go on.
Okay. So with the, as a result of the bond issuance, the district is also required to get what we call a financial and performance audit. So we do do two bond audits for the district. We do Measure CC and Measure B. I'll just kind of give a recap of both of those. For the financial statements, both of those measures received unmodified opinions. So basically the financial statements were fairly stated. We didn't have any audit adjustments in those areas as well. For the performance aspect is basically a compliance audit. We're going to select the sample expenditures to make sure that the money is being spent in accordance with what the voters wanted those for those specific projects. I'm happy to say we didn't have any issues. We didn't have anything in terms of any expenditures that we thought were inappropriate. All the expenditures we looked at were appropriate for the various projects that were approved by the voters. And for Measure CC, we actually looked at a large sample size, since, you know, you're usually going to pick up a large sample size with these because the expenditures are so large. So for this year, Measure CC, we looked at 52% of the total expenditures for the year and determined that the money's being spent appropriately. So same thing with there, very clean audits with the bonds. So at this time, I can answer any questions that anyone might have with the bond audit reports.
Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none? I want to thank you, Mr. Raquel Alonso and Vice President Garcia, and thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
And that brings us into 18.02, the 2022-2023 College of the Desert Alumni Association Incorporated audit report. This item is being brought to the board as information only. And is Kay Hazen out there? She's with the Alumni Association. She's available to address questions. Is she not here? Does anyone have any questions? We can bring this back if there are any questions. Okay, since there are no questions, we'll move on to 18.03, Administrative Procedures, 5,800, Prevention of Identity Theft in Student Financial Transaction. This item is being brought to the board as information only. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Okay. And that brings us down to the study sessions. 19.01, book rental program. At this time, I'd like to ask President Hope to help us introduce this item. Please proceed, President Hope.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We're very proud to present our direction this morning on the book rental program. We have had book rental at College of the Desert for a while. Unfortunately, the rental prices really didn't reflect as much of a break for students' financial burden as we would like it to. So the executive team and I started a conversation about how we might be able to modify it so that students didn't have to pay more than $5 to rent a book. And so we did some careful analysis, and I'm very grateful and appreciative of having Vice President Baker, Vice President Martinez Garcia, and Executive Director Catherine Abbott to talk a little bit about the prototype for book rental that we are launching as we engage more deeply in zero textbook cost efforts here at College of the Desert. So would you please give us your presentation? Thank you.
All right. Well, good morning. Do we have the clicker? Yes, sir.
see, is it? They're doing that good. So, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Hope, thank you for having us to talk about this program. You know, we do a lot of amazing things for our students, but we know they face a lot of challenges. You know, we serve the most diverse students with the most diverse student needs. And as much as we have great programs like Pledge, there's still one area that keeps bubbling up as a challenge for our students, and that is books, access to books. And we know that really plays a big role in students' ability to access a course and to be able to persist through and be successful in a course, super important for them. So this is something that we've talked about in Guided Pathways. We talked, as President Hope mentioned, in Cabinet. Through many parts of the institution, we've thought about this. So this is something we put into place this coming term, is really a bridge. It's a pilot program for us. And really with the help of the foundation, they really came through to support us with this. Catherine Abbott, through the foundation, has provided $100,000 to really provide access. We work with our deans to have our deans talk with their faculty and say, you know, what books do we think would be really important for our students to have access to help them be successful based on our course offerings. We looked at those kind of things, and a key component, of course, is that we'd make the cost $5 for the term. I do want to mention, as part of this, again, we are doing a lot of work with ZTC and OER, and I don't know, Val, if you wanted to mention anything around those efforts.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, and just to kind of thank a lot of people who are involved in this, specifically the Academic Senate, for their support in the book rental program, as well as the faculty in the various schools who are promoting the book, and also Jen Dunning and her efforts with ZTC OER as we continue to try to stand up and grow our efforts to move to a zero textbook cost campus. Our goal is, of course, to reach 25% more of our courses to be ZTC OER by next year. We're well on our way because of her efforts and the support of the Academic Senate. So this effort, as Jeff has alluded to, and President Hope has said before, that this program is to be a stopgap as we continue to increase those efforts in the ZTC OER space. So again, very appreciative of the Senate's efforts and all of the schools and the faculty and what they're doing to support students.
Thank you. So here's a list of the books that we've chosen. You can see the cost for a new book. From any of them, it can be very prohibitive for a student. And so again, students will have the ability to get access to these materials for $5 for the term. Just to talk a little bit about logistics, we're doing this in partnership with Follett at our bookstore, so they're going to help us with this project. Students must show proof of registration in a specific course to have the discount, to receive the discounted rate. It will be a first come, first served program as resources are limited with the 100,000. And then we provide a means students can use their smartphones or print out their course schedules through the counseling department and the Welcome Center in order to provide that evidence that they are registered in the course. Because we want to make sure, obviously, they're registered in the course to be able to get the $5 discount for the book. And again, you know, this really was made possible because of our foundation. And Kathy, I want to give you an opportunity to.
Thank you so much. This is a opportunity as I'm talking with the community that really is resonating with donors, and they are really excited to help support this new effort. And so just a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact, I stepped out because I received another phone call from an interested donor who wants to support the textbook rental program. So one more time, I did talk about this in my previous report, but I do want to thank very much Diane and Jerry Wendell, the COD Friends of the Library, who both embraced my request to help support this program. And we do have another donor who's very interested in, providing additional funding. So we might be able to actually surpass the 100,000 so that we can help some more students.
Madam President, if I can just add quickly to the part of that Val talked about as it relates to the faculty needed to agree to use these texts for 2 years in order for us to make that investment really worthwhile. And we're not looking to get the costs of the books back, but we also are looking to be able to rent these multiple semesters to students so that we can improve that opportunity. So very important that this was a collaborative effort between student services, instruction, the foundation. And I think it's an exciting demonstration of the way that College of the Desert comes together to make sure that we do our very best for students. So I'm very grateful that we're able to stand this up so quickly. And many thanks to Nicholas Robles, our public information officer, who's going to reach out specifically to students enrolled in these classes to let them know that this opportunity is available. Wonderful and
Oh, not terrible. Thank you so much for the presentation. If you remain there, trustees, any discussion? Questions, comments?
I just want to thank Laura and the foundation. This is great. This is amazing. Just out of curiosity, how many books would you say are available per course right now?
Books per course? Well, it's difficult because did you notice the variations on the cost? And part of the reason, as President Hope said about the 2-year commitment, was each year. So for example, if a student had to start with a new book, and then next year we'd be able, or the next term, primary term, we'd be able to offer it as a used book, right? And so then that would drop the cost and our money would go further. So it depends, but I did run a cost analysis, for example, on just our psych course offerings for the Psych 1 course. And if you looked at the total number of offerings that we had, and if we filled every section, and if you multiplied that by the cost of books, that'd be about $140,000 just for one. So, because there are like 19 sections of that course. So that kind of gives you an idea, but it just varies depending on, on the book.
I was just curious as to, how many students would be able to, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. This is amazing.
We will track that for you.
I'm just,
Yeah,
it's
so
just a question for me,
yeah.
like, how many students, would it be?
We'll take
20
advantage.
students, 30 students that may have this opportunity?
So what we'll do is we're working with the bookstore to make sure we track all of that. We will have information on every student that is able to access the $5 rental, and then we can bring that back and provide that for you if you like.
Sure, thank you, that'd be great.
I think it's also really important that we look at how much we saved students over that 2-year period, because we have Edge Pledge, which of course takes care of tuition. Tuition is no longer the biggest cost for students. It's textbooks now. And we can't have students in a situation where they're choosing between food and textbooks, the light bill and textbooks, gasoline in their car and textbooks, or not buying the book at all, which is the choice that a lot of students find themselves having to make.
I just have a question. Could you just talk about the faculty participation in this process, and are we making the inroads that are necessary?
Yeah, I'd like to defer to Vice President Martinez Garcia, since he works most closely with the faculty and on the zero textbook cost effort.
Right, so the deans worked with the faculty directly to get the commitment for the book for the 2 years. And we're also continuing to work with faculty through the Senate subcommittee led by Jen Denning with the OER. And so it's kind of a twofold approach to try to lower the cost for students around books and textbook cost. Having 3 students in college myself, the cost for books is astronomical. And so I know Jeff and I have children in college. We're very, very sensitive and aware of that because it's something we deal with as a reality, and we're very, very privileged to be able to handle some of the financial matters that we're able to handle. Unfortunately, the families that we see every day do not. And we try to relay that to our faculty, and they're very, very supportive of that idea. So it's really been a great effort through the Senate, working with Corbin Wild and the executive team of the Senate to have those discussions. And so we will continue to have them again to continue to look at ways we can minimize the cost for students around textbook cost.
Val, can you speak to the programs who are ready to commit to their entire program being zero textbook cost?
Right. We have child development who's ready to go. We have 6 or 7 others that I'm going to kind of hold back just a little bit because they've committed. But there's some things going on as far as the logistics of how they're going to go. But definitely the child development. We're looking at some of the social sciences. We're looking at some areas within the arts and humanities possibly also going. Child development being the biggest one for us.
But we think it'll take 2 to 3 years for us to really build into a statistically significant number, which is why this creates a great bridge for students. And, you know, we are interested as much as you are in tracking the impact. Yes, Trustee Perez.
Thank you, and really appreciate the program and commend the efforts that you all have made to make this possible. Just a question for clarification purposes, is it a $5 discount or is the renting the book for $5?
The cost is $5 for the student for the term.
Oh, okay, great.
If I may, it's great. It's just an opportunity. It's such. I'm transferring soon, so I wish there was something like that. But it's great. Like I want to just look back like 2 years, 3 years down the line and see how much it grows and steps closer to ZTC and OER. So thank you.
Student trustee Zarco, you can always brag that you were the student representative while this
That's exactly
occurred.
right.
So there you go.
And I always love to hear the students' opinion. You know, we get these presentations and sometimes we think they sound wonderful and then we might find out later that, you know, it's not reaching all the students. So I appreciate the fact that you've been able to participate in this and are able to participate in this discussion today. And I really want to thank everybody for doing this, because I remember when I went back to college for the 15th time, and yes, it took me a long time to get through, that, you know, being a single parent on welfare, it was extremely difficult to get those textbooks. And I was sharing them with people, and we still couldn't afford all the textbooks all the time. So, you know, I mean, this is just a big boom, you know, and in those days, your most expensive, well, my most expensive one was 100 and something, but that was an art textbook and it was like a coffee table thing. But our other textbooks were around $50, $50, $60, and that's like nothing compared to today's market, you know. It's just, so I really, really appreciate this. This is really a big boom. I think it'll be tremendously positive impact on our student. I know it will. And I want to thank Vice Presidents Baker and Martinez Garcia and Kathy Abbott for this presentation and for all the hard work you guys have done on this. And thank everyone in the community and all of our faculty that have helped as well. So thank you to everyone for this. Thank you. And at this time, Roadrunner Express Transportation Update. At this time, I'd like to ask President Hope to help us introduce this item. Please proceed, President Hope.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Another really great direction for us to celebrate. The very first week that I was here in July, I heard from Trustee Zarco about how many challenges students face in transporting themselves from one end of the valley to the next or in between campuses. I've also heard that Trustee Oden and others have noted that that's a huge issue for many of our students. And so the executive team, guided pathways teams, we've been talking about transportation as an issue that we need to tackle. We've taken that very seriously, and we now have a plan and a program that we are introducing this month. And I think in keeping with the last presentation, you know, educational researcher Vince Tinto, you know, once said that, you know, access without support isn't opportunity. And I think we really try to live by that understanding that we aren't really creating opportunity for students unless we support students and create the conditions for them to succeed. So our Roadrunner Express is another way that we can contribute to the conditions for student success. So I'd like to ask Vice President Baker, Executive Director Catherine Abbott, and our Public Information Officer Nicholas Robles to present what we will be also starting this month. So it's an exciting time for us.
Thank you so much. And again, Trustee Zarco, we did listen. And the board, we did listen. We heard loud and clear from our students that this has been one of the challenges, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to move quickly to address that concern. You know, the purpose of this program is really to significantly improve access to the College of the Desert programs, classes, services throughout the Coachella Valley. And we think this is a very exciting new opportunity that will help us to provide that access to all of our students. The new service overview is really, this will be available, this program will be available, it will be during the primary terms, so the fall and the spring terms are when they'll be available. The buses will be 2 buses doing 3 trips per day. They are ADA accessible, which is extremely important. And they'll be running Mondays through Thursdays, except holidays. The routes, there'll be 2 different routes. So again, on the morning, early in the morning, there'll be one starting in the east in Mecca Thermal, probably approximately around 6:50, because we ran the time and it takes about an hour to get here. So they'll start at Mecca Thermal at approximately 6:50, then go straight to Indio and stop in Indio, and then drive back to Palm Desert. It will route back the same exact way it came then, from Palm Desert to Indio back to Mecca Thermal, and then turn around and come back for a second full route. So we expect it to arrive here approximately 7:50 in the morning, the first bus route. We looked at our course offerings again. That was a really important piece as we strategized on how to maximize this for our students. We have some courses that begin at 8 o'clock and many at 9, so that was the time we determined would be a good starting point for us. And then again, the route from the west will start in Desert Hot Springs at about that same time, drive to Palm Springs and then Palm Desert and back again, and then do another full circle again. So the second route would probably arrive approximately 7:50, 9:50, again in Palm Desert from both sides, the east and the west. And then they will go back again, and then there'll be a pause. And we are looking at our class schedule, again, to make the best decision for our students. And we worked it out that the third stop would arrive back in Palm Desert by about 5 o'clock p.m. So again, it would start about 4 o'clock on each side, 4 o'clock in Mecca Thermal, 4 o'clock in Desert Hot Springs, and go to Indio and out to Palm Desert. And then it will take a final trek all the way back that direction. So it'll probably end about 6 o'clock p.m. based on that. Somewhere around that time will be the last, is when the routes would end. There are some logistics, well, a lot of logistics, but these are a few we wanted to highlight. We want to have Wi-Fi on each bus. We're working to get that settled. We want to have a way to track each bus. It's important that we have a mechanism. We're looking at our website and our mobile app so that if students can track and see either where the bus is at, or if there's an emergency, as we know during certain times like Coachella, where it could be a lot of traffic, and if there are delays, we want to have a mechanism for students to be able to go to something using their smartphone and find out where that would be so we can keep that updated. So those are kinds of things that we're working out this week and finalizing. And then let me turn over to Kathy to talk about the support.
Thank you. The College of the Desert Foundation has a 40-year history of helping the college provide support services to our students. And when we talked about this, I truly believe that it's an initiative that several of our funders in the community would want to put their arms around. And so following, as I mentioned in my report earlier, our very successful meeting with the Berger Foundation and the invitation to submit a letter of intent, we knew that this was a project that they would be able to, support because they like community initiatives. And we see this as an initiative that bridges our community together. So that letter of intent is sitting with them now. We are waiting for their board to meet so that they can make a decision. But in the meantime, we will be seeking other funders that will also, potentially be interested in supporting this initiative. So thank you.
And then as we kind of talk about this Roadrunner Express, it doesn't actually replace the public transit hall pass program that we have with Sunline. So one of those big things that we want to emphasize with students as well, because that program is not being sunset. This is just another program to complement the already existing program. And one of the things as we work in terms of letting students know about this program is getting to school one way might look a certain way and getting home might be another way. So really it's letting students know about the different options, whether they come to school through Roadrunner Express or they come to school utilizing Sunline. So really working with our transit partner here in the community so students really know about their different options. And I will open it up to any questions.
Any board members have any questions?
Just a lot of praise. Thank you.
I have a question. So this, the two little bus things that we have, they run during the day. So if a person's taking night classes, they would still have to go on the public transit to get to and from our classes?
Well, they could get to us by the 5 PM, so that's why.
Okay,
And
so
we were
they could
looking at
go,
that.
they could get here.
Yes.
But going home, they'd have to take public
We'd have
transit.
Sunline
So
for
that's
that.
where
Yes.
it waivers other. Okay, and then a question on that, because I know I've had students approach me and tell me that when they get out of their nighttime class, sometimes they can't make it to the public transportation site before that last bus leaves. Is there any way that we could alter that, or is that not a problem anymore?
Well, we can't alter the stops of Sunline, but what we can do is if we're getting that kind of feedback, we can see what we can do to address that concern.
Okay.
So let us know, because those are the kind of things we need to know about to help us
Okay.
better support our students.
Okay, I know a couple of years back, I was out here for something at night, and I ran into some kids, and they had just missed the bus, and it was like, and they had to get home. So I took them home. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I took them home.
Well, Madam Chair, may I add to that too, is we really are going to be, once we get this moving, because we'll see how it works, right? I mean, this is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning. We're really going to be also looking at our course offerings and the times, and we really want to be strategic where each point is in that transit and how we set our, and how we offer our courses to try to maximize that for our students.
Yeah, and how many are getting on and off.
Absolutely.
The logistical part of it. Okay.
Madam Chair, I believe that Trustee Gonzalez also had a question on this item.
I'm sorry. No, well, my question was I was just asking if the college was going to support this project in the meantime until, more funders. And Kathy, I know by the time we meet again in February, you'll probably have all this fantastic news of donors wanting to jump in. And I always appreciate the support of the community. So that was just my question, if it was going to be paid for now this way and then eventually, hopefully.
We do, we actually, as an executive team, we met with all of our prioritized projects, this being one of them, in order to maximize that support for students. And we do have a way identified to pay for this. But I think, as Kathy's pointed out, that augmented support creates more security and it allows us to use dollars for other things. So we have earmarked money, should that be needed. But we're also looking to our very generous community to help us with this.
But no, this is great. I know that what I really appreciate about this is it came about so quickly.
Thank you.
Because I remember, what the original motion was, and just to see that we were able to do this, and students across the Coachella Valley will have access, to transportation. I agree with Bonnie. That is one of the things I know, because a lot of students, are working or whatnot, so they may run into that difficulty where, when the course is over at night. But this is a great start. I'm sure that will be, I'm sure you'll be doing surveys as well with students.
We will. And that's why we have a tracking mechanism in the bus to tell us who's using it, and we can follow up on surveys with those students. And we really see the book rental and Roadrunner Express. The word I like to use rather than pilot is prototype, because pilot suggests it's something small you're trying to perfect. And I like to use the word prototype. In other words, you're creating something that you're probably going to break, or you're probably going to make some missteps. But the idea is that you start doing it so that you can learn from it and improve it. So the idea is not to wait to do something until it's perfect, but to put something in place so that you can figure out how to refine it as you do it. And I have a sense of adventure about innovation, and so I really appreciate the team kind of coming along with me on that, because as we all know, something is better than nothing. And I'd rather we work on fixing something rather than waiting until everything is just right. So,
If that even exists.
yeah, if that even exists.
There's always room for.
It's an illusion.
You always have to.
Thank you for not waiting until you had a perfect concept, but were willing to go forward with this idea. Thank you for the collaborative effort, and I am so excited because I know our students are going to benefit. So thank you.
And you're gonna see our buses all over town.
Oh, yeah.
I love that picture.
I have to say, yeah, this is 100% the right step in like the direction you're going. I see the vision. Like, this is cool. I ain't gonna lie. It just sounds fun. It's just great. Like, I can't really find like words to explain it, but it's definitely something to be excited about to just come and how it can be improved in the future. So I want to thank you guys.
Remember, Trustees Arco, you were the rep when all this went down.
This
so
happened.
There you go.
Are there any other questions, comments from the board? I know this is an exciting thing to be able to see happening.
And big thank you to the team, because it's a heavy lift.
And I want to thank everyone, Vice President Baker, Kathy Abbott, Nicholas Robles. This is great. This is really great. You can tell we're thrilled. So thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. That was wonderful. And at this time, we'll move into public comments. Requests to address the Board of Trustees regarding matters not on the agenda. Remote public participation is allowed and will be accepted in person by email to otp@collegeofthedesert.edu during the meeting and submitted for the record, or by using the raise your hand function by joining the Zoom link. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes per topic. All comments must be submitted or brought forward prior to the end of the public comments section. As an additional note, this item is intended for members of the public who wish to speak regarding matters not related to the agenda. Irene, are there any public comments that have been received?
We did not receive any public comments, Trustee Stefan.
Thank you. That takes us into 21.01, future agenda items. At this time, if I could just draw your attention at the very, very end of your binder, there is a sheet in there that has our board future agenda item request for 2023-2024. But if you have something you want to mention, even if it's there, you want to mention it again, please do so. Student trustees, Arco, is there anything that you have come up with that you'd like to see on a future agenda?
No.
Trustee Perez? Okay, Trustee Oden?
Not at this time, thank you.
Trustee Kinnaman?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Trustee Gonzalez?
I think the only thing that I don't see that I had requested previously was a report on when students receive scholarships. Yeah, you do remember? Okay. Yes, I do. I didn't see it on there, but I thought, I'm sure it was just missed.
Okay, student scholarships.
Yeah, I want to know how long it takes for them to receive. I have had some students contact me with just some concerns of the length of time. So just if we can have a presentation on how that works and the timeline for students to receive.
And you were talking about all types of scholarships.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I have nothing that I'm going to add at this time. And that concludes this open part of our meeting. We're going to go into closed session, so we're going to recess to closed session. And we're going to have the live feed of this meeting will continue. Board members and President Hope, I ask that you please join us in closed session at, is it really only 11:45? So let's try to get in there by 12:05. Thank you. Wow.
IT team is ready.
We'll reconvene to open session. There is no action taken in closed session, so there is nothing to report out. With that in mind, we will adjourn this meeting at 1:12. Thank you. Is that right? Close.
1:15.